Hey guys, in this video I'll be remaking one of my older games in Pygame, since it seems like you guys like watching me use different game making platforms. What is the older game, you ask? Well, I actually made a YouTube short on it back in February. And the game is a reaction type game where the player has to press the spacebar when the moving bar is on the target. If the player successfully presses the spacebar when the moving bar is over the target, they get a point. And if not, they lose a life. After a while, the bar gets faster and faster, making the game get harder the longer you play. Now that you know the game I'm remaking, let's get started into remaking it with Pygame. Whoa, slow down. I don't even know how to make a game with Pygame yet. So before I jumped into development, I watched this tutorial. Now I'm ready to remake the game in Pygame. The first thing I did was import Pygame, then I initialized it. Next, I set the screen width and the screen height to the variables. Then I made a run variable and set it to true. After, I made a clock variable and set it to pygame.time.clock. Next, I made a while run loop and added a for loop to see if you're closing the game window. If so, I made it set run to false. After, I made a pygame.flip. Then I locked the game FPS to 250 and quit Pygame at the end of the while loop. After I ran the game, the window flashed and disappeared. That was because I forgot to add a dot display in between the Pygame and flip. Now the window works. After making the window, I made a border rectangle and set its size and position. After that, I drew the border and made it hollow and set its thickness to 5. Then I made a rectangle for the player and duplicated the borders and changed it to draw the player. After, I made it full and changed its color to green. Next, I changed its Y position to 270. Then I made a direction variable and set it to up. After, I made a speed variable and set it to 1. Next, I changed the game background color to black. Then I made 2 if statements to check if the direction is up or down. Next, I made 2 if statements to move the player up or down depending on the direction. And tried out the game, but the screen flashed and disappeared. That was because when I set the game background color, I forgot to add another set of brackets. After fixing that, I tried out the game. Now when the player is at the bottom of the border, it goes up, and when it's at the top of the border, it goes down. With the player done, I imported random and made a new target rectangle. Then I made its Y position be randomized when the game starts. Next, I drew it in the game and set its color to light green-ish and tested it out. Now the target always spawns at a random Y position in the border. After, I made a new event to check if the spacebar is pressed. If so, I set the target's Y position to a random number. Now whenever I press the spacebar, the target goes to a random position. Then I made a collide variable to check if the player and the target collide. After, I made it check if the player and the target are colliding when you click the spacebar before it goes to a random position. Now the target only goes to a random position if the player and the target are colliding and you click the spacebar. So this is the final game for now. 25 likes for a part 2 where I'll make a health system, score, and add sound effects. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you have an idea on what I should add in part 2, and I'll see you next time. See ya!